Ooh. What's up, Internet? My name's David Webb.
I'm Arielle Edwards.
We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
Yeah. Damn it, Chris Hemsworth. I forgot that I added that and I didn't take it out. The sad thing is that's the second time I've done this, but on Wednesday I actually we reshot the morning, but
we're just gonna it's a thing now. We're chugging forward. We ain't gonna let that stop us, guys. It's the morning show. It's the news.
It has to show up by accident at some point every show.
Just like flash very briefly across the
Chris
screen.
Hemsworth's bulging biceps.
I'm in.
I mean, I'm down. I'm always happy to look at that photo. It makes me feel bad about myself. I need encouragement to work out.
All right,
and Chris Hemsworth is all the encouragement I need.
That fair. Mm-hmm.
Dude's straight jacked.
Yeah.
Usually around the 20-minute mark we start talking about some hot male actor, but I guess today we're starting.
We're starting off strong. Guys.
Starting off strong. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another morning show, the nightly morning show here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. If you're watching this on YouTube or catching our podcast feed later, you can watch this live. You can be in the chat. You can join us. Twitch.tv/nerdynightly. Come check us out. 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. We do this show. Yeah. And we do the nerd news. And we talk. And occasionally we have guests. And that won't happen for a while because we're in lockdown. But
yay. Love that.
I feel like I was in a good spiel there. And then it ran out of gas.
You know what? I think you really nailed the essence of 2020. You know.
I don't know about that. I don't think that 2020 was ever doing great. Because even like pre-COVID, like January was still like Australia was burning.
Australia was on fire. Yeah, it's true. 2020 has just been a shit show. And you know what? Your speech was not a shit show. It started off very strong.
Oh wow, we're just cussing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your parents are gonna text you about that. You know they are. They're gonna be like, my little Arielle.
Oh please, my parents do not watch the morning show. Like.
You mean they're not here every single day?
No, I don't think they've seen a single episode. Let's be honest. Like. The only time they've ever been on Twitch ever, maybe was, like, for, like, the wedding stuff. But they were there in person, so it might have been to, like, help out a relative.
Muddles40 in the chat says, it's been a purty little dumpster fire. Like, a very cute emote. If you guys aren't on Twitch, you're missing out on a very cute emote. I love a cute dumpster fire. I feel like that's what you could call me in college. Me. You are a cute dumpster fire.
Thank you.
But you're my dumpster fire.
Aww.
I need a fire extinguisher. Y'all, it is a Friday show. Which means we're a little loosey-goosey because it's been a long week.
Yep.
The Friday shows are always a little...
Well, and we get up early on Fridays
to
watch Mandalorian. So we've had a long week, and also we have to get up that hour earlier. Because we love Star Wars.
Because we love Star Wars. We are not going to be talking spoilers for this morning's episode. Please do not worry. Yeah, we know. I as someone who has been awaiting episodes like this one for a long time, I know how important it is to see it for yourself.
Yes.
So please enjoy the 13th chapter of The Mandalorian, and avoid everything on the internet until then.
Yeah. Seriously, don't go on Facebook or Twitter or anything. Like, try and watch it as soon as possible. Yeah. Otherwise, you're probably gonna get spoiled. We're really not gonna say anything about it. Because we can't without giving stuff away. And
there's something in the episode that Disney's not going to be able to hide for long that they're going to have to start talking about publicly. Mm-hmm. And that was a cool moment to hear in the show, and that I wouldn't want to learn about it another way.
No. So definitely try and watch it as soon as you can, or just avoid social media so you don't get
Thank you for that lurk, Dill Pickle. Enjoy your meditation. To all of our lurkers in the chat, we see you.
Well, I mean...
We don't see you. We appreciate you.
We feel the vibes.
We feel the vibes. So, y'all, before we get into the news, I just wanted to throw out really quickly, I know that since we're talking about Star Wars... I know that typically Sundays on the Nerdy Nightly are Star Wars Sundays. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to do this week. Just wanted to let you know that we're canceling that stream because I am headed to New York as soon as the show's over.
Yeah.
To spend the weekend cleaning out my storage unit and moving the last kind of like parts of my life out of that city, which is really, it's weird to think about. I've lived in New York the last 10 years of my life. And now I don't.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's good. It's good. I'm happy, you know, I'm happy with our life, and, you know, we're moving forward and moving up, and, but it's a bittersweet thought, to, you know, there's been this, like, tether there still.
Yeah. And
now there won't be.
Yeah.
And that is, it's a weird feeling. Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And stressful. Like, crossing the border in a pandemic is going to be stressful, honestly.
Yeah, it's just going to be, like, frustrating, you know? Like, they're going to be like, what are you doing?
No, I mean, I've talked to the border on both sides. I've literally talked to everyone I need to talk to. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be okay with that. It's more just complicated and, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Mel the Bard in the chat says Toronto is just like New York with less. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, I'm walking here.
Exactly. There's also not as many tall buildings. Like after seeing New York, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, oh my god.
Yeah, New York is well, actually, no. Tokyo's like that as well. Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo has a similar vibe to New York.
Cool.
I thought Toronto was a big city until I saw New York, and now I'm like, oh no, there's like big cities like Toronto, and then there's like.
Just
to steal a term from Judge Dredd, there's mega cities, and like New York City is like a mega city.
Yeah, yeah.
Chicago's like that. Downtown Chicago is so big. Oh my god. Tokyo's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Canada doesn't really have anything that's the same vibe. Toronto's probably the closest, but even still, it doesn't have that just like blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of like huge tall buildings. Like. Yeah. You know, you don't feel like the world's, like, caving in on you because you can't see the sky.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it comes down to space, right?
Yeah.
Like, New York City just doesn't have the space. Because not in all of New York City's tall buildings. Once you go to Queens, once you go out to Long Island, once you go to New Jersey, it's very different. And Tokyo, here the wind in the chat is saying, like, there's districts of Tokyo that aren't so massive feeling. But there are enough districts in Tokyo that are just... If you ever walk through Shibuya, it's an experience unlike anything else. It's a shopping district in Tokyo. And Shibuya, the first time I walked... I lived in New York. Like, I flew from New York to Tokyo. And I still walked through Shibuya being like, wow. Like, this is wild. There's 10-story tall electronic stores. There's a Disney store that's inside of a mall. It's just, there's like a 4-story Disney store that has this like little parapet you can walk up in. Like, Shibuya's insane.
Yeah.
Especially on Halloween. And once all the COVID's over and it's safe to be in large groups, the Shibuya crossing on Halloween is one of the most amazing experiences. You literally can't go where you want to go because everyone is so packed. You're outside, but everyone is so packed together that you have to like get into a lane and just like follow that lane.
Wow.
Because you're just getting jammed together. Oh man, it was one of the weirdest nights of my life. I'm not lying. But also like one of the most fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you have good vibes this weekend, please send them my way for my crazy New York trip.
Yeah. Yeah, but David will be having a stream on Monday instead to make up for Sunday.
Guys, Monday. Guess what's coming Monday? Ned Flanders. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Twitch.tv/nerdynightly. It's the Ned Flanders stream.
Yay.
Why are you like that? You want the mustache gone.
I know,
There's two things that have to happen before the mustache can go away.
I know. Ron Burgundy and Ned Flanders.
Everyone who made my Movember pledge happen, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And what did we say? December 1st for Ron Burgundy?
I thought we were going with the 2nd for Wednesday, the hump day.
Oh, yes. December 2nd.
Yeah. Wednesday next week, the morning show will be hosted by Clarus, as always. I will not be here. Ron Burgundy, the famed newscaster, is going to be on the couch with my wife. Giving you guys the nerd news. He usually does normal, like, everyday local news. Uh-huh. So, how Ron Burgundy handles nerd news is going to be fun to watch.
Oh, boy.
So that'll be Wednesday next week.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the mustache to go, if I'm being honest.
I'm going to miss it. Yeah. Y'all, I think it's time to get into some news.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's up, Internet? I don't know why I just started the...
Are you okay?
Not really. It's been a long week.
I'm sorry.
In Netflix news, November 29th, 2020 is a big day for fans of the character Daredevil, otherwise known as Matt Murdock, of course, following that Stan Lee naming convention where names are alliterative. I love that word, alliterative. Matt Murdock and the character of Daredevil are returning to Marvel on November 29th because it will have officially hit that 2-year period where Netflix is no longer in active production on any series or movie with the character.
Yeah.
And so the rights are going to come back to Marvel, and we are going to start seeing Marvel maybe talking about some of these Defenders characters, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and how they might fit into the MCU. Mm-hmm. Caveat here, there are a lot of people who want the Matt Murdock from the Netflix show to continue on. One of those being Vincent D'Onofrio, the actor who played Kingpin in that series, who recently retweeted a petition that you can go sign in order to try and get Marvel to bring back that Daredevil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like really pushing for it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why. He is... Season 3 of Daredevil is one of the greatest seasons of television ever made.
Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin versus Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in Season 3 of Daredevil is one of the most fascinating, like, hero versus villain battles that has ever been put to film. And I think that it's really a perfect season of television.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The final battle between Bullseye, Kingpin, and Daredevil in that season is one of the coolest action sequences that has ever... Because none of them really have superpowers. Like, Bullseye always hits, and Daredevil is blind, but can still see. Like, those are the superpowers in the fight, so it's a brawl.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most remarkably choreographed pieces of fight choreography I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's brutal. It's brilliant. And it is... Mello the Bard brings up the hallway fight, which is great. The hallway fights in Daredevil are unbelievable, but they're not character driven. There's no like emotional weight to those hallway fights, really. They're just brutal and they're just incredible. Saying just incredible is kind of silly, but the battle, the war, you know, like this battle between these three men who all have very emotional connections to each other by that point in the season is the emotional connection is so deep that the brawl takes on this extra meaning.
Yeah.
And it just is, it's so good. Honestly, there's a part of me that says you don't need to continue that Daredevil.
Right, that it ended well.
Well, you told the perfect story for him.
Right.
Like, you told the perfect Matt Murdock Daredevil story in that battle with Kingpin. So I don't know. I think that they're definitely going to eventually bring Daredevil into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that you have to see him hang out with Spider-Man. Like, it just has to happen. I really want Tom Holland to... There's a famous comic book line where Spider-Man pretends to be Daredevil in court to get... Because everyone thinks that Matt Murdock... Because Matt Murdock's a lawyer.
Okay.
So Matt Murdock is... Daredevil's like on trial. I can't remember all the details, but... Matt Murdock is representing Daredevil, and so Peter Parker shows up as Daredevil in court so that people don't think that Matt Murdock is Spider-Man, or so that people don't think Matt Murdock is Daredevil.
Yeah.
So to help him save his secret identity, Spider-Man dresses up, because they're like best friends in the comics. They're really, really close. And it's a great storyline, but because it's Tom Holland, I just want to see Tom Holland try and pretend to be Daredevil.
100%.
Like, I just think that that would be one of the funnier scenes in MCU to me.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I would watch just that.
Especially because Charlie Cox's Daredevil is so like... And I just want to see Tom Holland in that freaking Daredevil helmet be like...
So wait, so he wouldn't be the lawyer, he would be Daredevil.
Yeah, Tom Holland would be in the Daredevil suit.
Oh, I thought you meant Tom Holland would be Matt Murdock.
No, everyone knows what Matt Murdock looks like.
How would that happen? I was very confused.
Peter Parker is also not a lawyer.
No, I know. That's why I was like, how would that work?
Although, Peter Parker, as Peter Parker, having to defend Daredevil in court would also be hilarious.
Right? That's why I was like, this is absurd, but I love it. I'm here for it.
No.
Okay.
Spider-Man puts on the Daredevil costume.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Does it fit well?
In the comics, they're more similar physically.
Okay.
In Tom Holland and Charlie Cox are not the same size humans.
Yeah.
It would actually be very funny if he came in and it just didn't fit. It's just like hanging off of him.
Oh wow! I didn't know I needed this until today.
Man, I know Tom Holland and Charlie Cox. I want that. And like I do want that. Charlie Cox was really, really, really good as Matt Murdock. He nailed it. He did, and I would love for them to bring him back. Mm-hmm. I don't think Disney is going to be interested in bringing back the world of the Netflix shows just because they are very dark.
Jessica Jones is dark.
So it's Jessica Jones is definitely dark, and the comics are dark. Like the comics are able to be darker than the TV and movies are. Mm-hmm. The comics of Jessica Jones are way darker than the television series,
which is wild.
Anglis LV in the chat is asking, what's the backstory? Why did Marvel lose rights to Daredevil? Mm-hmm. So, Anglis, Marvel never actually lost the rights to Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Marvel sold the rights to Daredevil. For those of you who don't know, there was a period in time where Marvel Comics was in really, really, really bad shape. Financially. Like, they were... there was a point where it looked like Marvel Comics was going to be bought by DC. Like the Marvel financials were really bad.
Wow.
And so Marvel sold off all of the like film and television rights to a bunch of different places. It's why Universal owns the rights to the Hulk, and why there's no solo Hulk movie in the MCU after the Incredible Hulk, and it's because Disney doesn't want to work with Universal to make that film. Mm-hmm. It's why Spider-Man was sold to Sony. It's why the X-Men franchise was sold to Fox. Like Marvel was selling off the film and TV rights because they were literally going to go under. Mm-hmm. At the time, it didn't seem like as big a deal because you've got to understand, like, I think this was in the 90s, and there were no superhero movies being made. Like, mm-hmm. the only superhero movie at the time was Blade, which was a hit, but, like, an R-rated hit, so it was definitely financially less successful.
For sure.
And so, essentially, like, Marvel split its properties among a bunch of different companies and said, you make movies, you make TV shows, we don't make movies and TV shows, do what you want with this. Mm-hmm. The fallout of that kind of came home to roost for Marvel when suddenly they had Iron Man, but they didn't own the rights to their big stars. They didn't own X-Men. They didn't own the big boys, mm-hmm. The A-listers, as they're often referred to. They only owned their C and D list heroes. Because you also have to remember, like, when Iron Man the movie came out, no one was buying Iron Man comics. Like, Iron Man was not a star of the Marvel Universe.
Really?
He was a major player, but Iron Man wasn't like everybody's favorite hero Iron Man like he is now.
Right.
Captain America wasn't like the biggest selling comic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thor certainly wasn't the highest selling comic.
Mm-hmm.
Like these were not the heroes that Marvel was backed on. It was X-Men, it was Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Those are X-Men and Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's literally Marvel is built on Wolverine and Spider-Man mm-hmm. For a long time. And the change that the MCU brought to the whole franchise, like the MCU literally dragged these D-list characters into A-list. Thor is now an A-list character.
Something. Yeah.
But seriously, Thor is an A-list character. Iron Man is an A-list character. Captain America is
100%.
Captain America is synonymous with like America now. Like the Chris Evans, Steve Rogers Captain America has become like a cultural moment.
Yeah.
In a way that I never expected.
Mm-hmm.
People know who War Machine is. You know what I mean? People know who Rocket Raccoon is. Star-Lord. The Guardians of the Galaxy...
was like the
Guardians of the Galaxy didn't exist. Like, the Guardians of the Galaxy was like a mediocre comic book. Mm-hmm. And not that the writing was mediocre, but like sales, like it was like, I mean...
Yeah.
Like, the change that the MCU has brought to Marvel Comics... Mm-hmm. which isn't the change that happened in DC, right? DC owned all of the rights to all their big heroes.
Yeah.
So the movies that they made were Superman, Batman. Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Aquaman, Aquaman's kind of a cultural joke. My favorite superhero, but culturally is a joke. But like he's still one of the original 7. DC never lost those rights, so they were able to make those because they're partnered with Warner Brothers, and they were able to do that themselves.
Right.
And part of that is the success of Batman 1989, the Dawn or Superman films. Like they knew that they wanted to own those things because in the 80s, 70s and 80s, they'd already had success with those properties.
Interesting. So Marvel basically did what it needed to survive.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And now the deal is that so if Netflix doesn't make Daredevil content for 2 years, then they get the rights back. That's how that works?
So basically, when you buy the rights, you have to put it, depending on the contract that you sign with Marvel, you have to put something into active production within a 2-year span sometimes. I think Spider-Man's is a 5-year span. And you have to put something into active production at various steps in that process in order to retain the rights.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there was a point where I'm pretty sure there was a rumor that Amazing Spider-Man was, the Andrew Garfield one, was made because Sony was about to lose the rights to Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why they rushed that film out.
Gotcha.
And so different rights, different contracts have different lengths that you can go without making something.
Gotcha.
The Netflix deal appears to, if public knowledge is correct, the Netflix deal appears to be 2 years, and the 2 years on Daredevil runs out on Sunday, November 29th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Marvel will be getting the rights to Daredevil back this Sunday, and then the subsequent, based on when those other series ended, because obviously the last season of Jessica Jones was after the last season of Iron Fist, and last season of Luke Cage. So when those 2-year marks come up in the next year and a bit, Marvel will slowly accumulate those properties back into the fold as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Netflix is not. Netflix and Marvel are not currently working together, so Netflix will not be putting any of those things back into production, and they're essentially waiting out the clock. But everybody knows that Netflix is letting the rights go back to Marvel.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what Marvel did, or not Marvel, what Netflix did with season 1 of Jessica Jones was amazing. But I don't think season 2 was that great, and I don't think it was received particularly well. So it makes sense that they're just like.
I enjoyed season 2. Yeah, enough. I did. I liked I liked where Wildcat was headed. I really ended up enjoying her storyline, and I liked Nuke. The steroids guy.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. Names are escaping me, but I honestly, I don't remember a ton of season 2 because I tried so hard to watch it. I was like, season 1 was so good. And season 2 just felt like a slog to me. I was like...
It definitely had a different kind of focus. Like, season 1 was so focused. That's what season 3 of Daredevil had. It was so... season 3 of Daredevil was so focused on the relationship between Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Jessica Jones was so focused on the Purple Man and Jessica.
David Tennant.
Angelus LV in the chat asked, does the same can be applied to Punisher also, or is it a different story? Yes, Angelus. So, Marvel Punisher, I believe, came out almost a year after Netflix's, or after Daredevil. So I think Punisher will probably, I don't have the dates, but the Punisher will probably revert back to Marvel in a year.
If they don't decide to make more Punisher. But...
I don't think they can. I think that Marvel has to be somewhat attached, and since Marvel's we're not working with you on this, Netflix can't move forward.
Oh,
it's kind of a weird. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. It wasn't the best, in my limited understanding. It wasn't the best break off of that relationship.
I see.
Okay. Melibard says I could watch a whole show of him just doing alley fights and shooting up warehouses. He's talking about the Punisher.
Yeah.
And that's John Bernthal, the actor, who is really, really, really good in everything. What a launching pad he had in Walking Dead.
Who's he in Walking Dead?
Shane.
Oh, yes, of course. I can literally see him in my head.
He lucked out so much in getting to be in the highest rated part of Walking Dead, like the blow up of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And then getting to spoilers for like season 1 of Walking Dead, I guess.
No, he
dies very early on.
10 years ago.
And he died at a point where the show was at the height.
It was a peak, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he's not affiliated with any of the like malaise of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So he literally just got that pop from the show, and then his career, obviously he's done a lot, and he's just
totally.
I love him so much.
I wonder if he was like, oh dang, like I die off, and the show's doing so well, like this like kind of like sucks, and I wonder if he's now just like, yes.
I think if it was a network TV show, he'd feel that way because the money would be so much more, but because it's AMC. His just like how much money he can make long term is actually limited by AMC's contracts.
That's fair.
Just you can't sell Walking Dead into syndication in the same way that you can sell a network television show because of rights and standards and stuff. Walking Dead is a little bit grotesque for TLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are interested in Daredevil or The Defenders, they are going back to Netflix. Or sorry, they're leaving Netflix and they're going back to Marvel.
Going back to Marvel.
So you're going to be getting some very some Defenders content from Marvel soon, I'm sure. They're not going to let Daredevil sleep. He's too strong a character.
Totally. Yeah, so many people love him. Like there's a lot you can do with it. Yeah, they're gonna use that to their advantage for sure.
How you do Daredevil in a MCU style universe, I don't know. He's a pretty brutal physical character. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Mel Lombard's mom met John Bernthal on a flight and said he was so nice and genuinely still shocked people were fans of him. How? Dude.
That's so funny.
Dude is like, he's the best. I love him.
Yeah.
John Bernthal's one of like my favorite people.
Okay.
Like he's just like, every interview I've seen of him, I got to see him at Comic-Con a few times.
Yeah.
Because Walking Dead always had a panel at Comic-Con back in the day. And back in the day, at New York Comic-Con, they changed this where they emptied the big hall out between panels.
Yeah.
But it used to be that if you wanted to be in the big panel on Saturday night, you had to sit through panels all day. Everything in the panel before that.
Right.
And so I caught the Walking Dead panel every year because it was before the Avengers panel and it was before the, whatever the big Saturday night panel was.
Totally.
And so I sat through the Walking Dead panel every year and they would show the first episode of the new season. And, because The Walking Dead always premiered on the Sunday night of New York Comic Con.
Oh, wow.
Every year.
Wow.
So it was like the big panel before the show premiered the next day. It was fun.
Gotcha.
Angelus LV says, can you elaborate a little bit on Spider-Man? What exactly would Sony have to do to retain and not lose rights? Is it always have to be a movie, or can it also be something else like a video game? Angelus, that is actually a really interesting question. Spider-Man is in a different bracket than the Netflix shows now. So Spider-Man's deal was changed in order to bring Spider-Man into the MCU.
That just happened recently, didn't it?
I mean, 5 years ago now.
Oh.
Yeah, because when did Homecoming come out? Spider-Man Homecoming would have been 4 years ago now.
Is it that long? 5 years ago? No.
Yeah.
3?
No, because it was I think it was 2016. I might be wrong. So the deal would have had to have been at least a year before
2017.
that. 2017. So the deal was probably still 5 years old though.
Yeah.
Because production and. So because Sony and Marvel are working together for at least 2 more Spider-Man movies, one of those might not be a Spider-Man solo movie, that might be Spider-Man in another Marvel property, and that deal could extend past that point. Marvel and Sony have changed that deal, and I don't know what the new terms of that deal are. I will say, because of the Spider-Man films that Sony has in production now, it does not look like there's going to be a 5-year break in Spider-Man films anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because we are going to be getting Venom 2. There is supposedly the Silver Sable Black Cat movie coming. There is supposedly a Sinister Six movie coming. And I'm sure we are going to continue to get Spider-Man films with Tom Holland past the MCU deal if they don't extend it.
Yeah.
The Angelus, they just have a different contract with Sony now in order to keep seeing the Tom Holland Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
They have altered the deal.
Yeah.
And that will continue through Spider-Man 3, whatever the sequel that they're currently filming is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's going to happen beyond that because the contract will end after Spider-Man 3 and Tom Holland appears in another Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That will be the end of the current iteration of the Sony Marvel deal. However, I personally think that both companies are going to see that there's money in it, and they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They'll work something out. But I remember people like the buzz about this deal, you know, because people really wanted, they really wanted Spider-Man in the Marvel movies. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you know, people were very excited for it,
and he belongs there. Like
yeah.
His appearance in Civil War is so good.
It is.
Under Ruse. It's so good. It's just right. And, like,
yeah.
I can't imagine Infinity War and Endgame without Spider-Man.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't imagine those kind of stories without Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And obviously, Peter Parker might not be the Spider-Man forever in that universe. I think eventually they'll transition to Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. Because Miles Morales is dope.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... you don't even need another reason. Miles Morales is an incredible character. Whose game I haven't played yet, and I'm still sad about it.
We're gonna get a PS5, I promise. One day.
Yeah. I should have... Yeah.
What?
Nothing. I'm just sad. I want to play Spider-Man. I'm trying to find a PS5, y'all, but it's impossible.
It's tough.
It's impossible.
I know, I'm sorry.
Walmart put some more on sale on Wednesday night, and they sold out within 10 seconds.
What the heck?
Do you know what my computer did for those 10 seconds? It tried to load the page.
I'm so sorry. And we got that sweet fiber internet too. Like
Sony, I am trying. Sony,
take my money.
I am trying to give you my money. Like, I am trying to give you hundreds of dollars of my money. I'm trying. Let me.
I'm sorry.
Y'all, speaking of video game news, we have some really interesting news coming out of Japan.
Yes.
Which my brother in the chat, Hero of Wind, helped me do some research on. Because I couldn't figure out how much things cost there because I can't search the Nintendo eShop. Mm-hmm. But in Japan this week, the big release was thought to be Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, the new Legend of Zelda game that is a prequel to Breath of the Wild. In my opinion, one of the best games Nintendo made in the last decade.
For sure.
Everyone was expecting that to be the top of the charts, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close.
Yeah. In a surprise sweep.
So Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which released on the 20th, opened and sold an estimated 173,215 copies, which is a big release. Like, that's excellent.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a number that I think Nintendo's very upset with.
No, gotcha.
However, coming in at a little more than double that, the game Momotaru Dentetsu Showa Heisei Raiwa Mo Taiban, which is the longest name ever.
For the train game?
It's the train game.
Yeah.
But that game came in with a whopping 345,697. More than double the sales of Hyrule Warriors. Now, there was a point where I was like, all right, well, here's the thing. I wonder if Hyrule Warriors is a full-price game. I don't know this Momotaru Dentetsu series. Maybe it's just cheaper, and so it was easier for people to buy. And Hyrule Warriors is slightly more expensive at 7,920 yen versus Momotatsu coming in at 6,930 yen. But at 6,930 yen, that's still about $70 American. That's still a full-price game.
Yeah.
And, I'm really surprised to see a Legend of Zelda title be so thoroughly walloped in sales like that.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Nintendo expected it either.
Probably not. If you're Nintendo and you're putting out a Legend of Zelda game. Yeah. Now, to be fair, it should be pointed out, Nintendo's fine because these are both Nintendo games.
Oh.
Their competition is themselves. So at the end of the day...
so they are laughing. They are... so they're fine.
At the end of the day, Nintendo is going, we beat ourselves, and 2 games made a lot of money.
Wow. Well, and like you said, I don't think Nintendo is upset with those numbers for Age of Calamity.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not bad by any means. It's just so funny that this train game sold that many copies, and it's not that much less expensive.
No.
You know.
But it's just this is total sales for both of those games in that week. So yes, that is their total sales. I think that what's interesting here is that if you look at this, the number here, right? Mm-hmm. The next gen console games came out that week.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, a Sony game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were the big next gen console releases not at the top of that list. Sony or Nintendo games still top that list.
Interesting.
And I think that part of that might be that it is almost impossible to get a console for the next gen consoles. I think that the sales are hurt by the fact that it is difficult to get those consoles.
To actually get a way to play them.
If you're playing a PS5 game, like how do you get... Because I don't want to buy Miles Morales for PS4, really. I want to buy it for the PS5.
Totally.
I want to play it on the PS5. So, like, I will buy it when I can get a PS5. And I think that there's a lot of people in a similar boat to me. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it's an interesting case of did these games crush as much because there are a lot of people who have Nintendo Switches, particularly in Japan where the console is... Oh,
for sure.
You know...
Yeah, and
you can't ride the subway there without seeing multiple people playing a Nintendo Switch. No, you can't. Like, you know, when I was there...
amazing.
You know, the thing I bonded with people the most over was that I always had my Nintendo Switch on me.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a culture. The Switch is very like culturally effusive there, in a way that maybe these next gen consoles aren't yet, and so it's harder to sell these games at the level if the consoles aren't out there for you to sell the games at that level. For sure,
for sure. Like you said, you know, there are games that we want, but we're waiting for a PlayStation 5 to get them on because we don't want them at the previous console. Like we want to keep upgrading. We want the new ones and.
Laser Gunner in the chat is saying that's why scalpers are a problem for the companies. They make a lot more money off of games than the consoles, and this is what we talked about yesterday.
Totally.
Was that yesterday?
Yes.
2 days ago? Whatever. The scalpers video. I would be buying PS5 games if I could get my hands on a PS5.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sony would have half of our money.
The scalpers who have their the scalpers who have their 3,000 PS5s on a shelf waiting to sell them for someone on eBay, they're not buying games. So Sony is not profiting off of those consoles in the way that they want to.
Yeah, no, they're just...
And it just becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem for Sony, it's a problem for Microsoft, it's a problem for the industry. In that, you know, it's the same thing with the GPU scalping issue where people aren't getting the high-end GPUs, and so they're probably not going to buy the high-end game that needs the high-end GPU until they have the GPU that they can play the game on.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing Cyberpunk on a 1080. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the way that you want to.
Yeah, especially, like, it's so wild to think that, like, we've come so far that already, like, a 1080 is not as... anyways, that's crazy.
Well, you know, look at our graphics card is struggling a little bit with Valhalla, and we have an amazing graphics card.
Yeah,
you know
we have a 2070.
Now, granted, that might be Ubisoft.
Yeah, probably Ubisoft. I'm gonna say it's Ubisoft.
But it's just very interesting. Miller says, I see Nintendo game ads on trains all the time, but none for other consoles. Yeah, Nintendo just owns that market.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
The Japanese market is the Japanese market is absolutely dominated by Nintendo.
Yeah.
This we weren't actually going to talk about this today, but I did read this. Something interesting about the Japanese release of Assassin's Creed Valhalla is that it's bloodless. And no one knows why.
What?
Yeah, so you can turn the blood effects in Assassin's Creed Valhalla on and off. But even if you turn them on in the Japanese version, there's still no blood. Yeah, no one knows why yet.
What?
Yeah, I think it's just a bug, like everything else in that game is.
It's always a bug.
It's always a bug. Ubisoft, it's always a bug. The crazy thing is we talk about them, like, Ubisoft, I get that they probably don't love that I make fun of the bugs so much, but at the same time, Ubisoft, I buy all of your games, and I constantly talk about how much I love them, so you can't be that mad at me.
Yeah.
I'm still desperately trying to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you're just making it hard for me to do it.
Yeah.
Anglis is asking, what are your thoughts on companies letting users play higher quality games based on subscriptions like Ubisoft Plus without actually having to buy a game copy? if it works, Angulas, I'm interested in it.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, like Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, but this is higher quality games, not.
I think he just means like AAA titles.
Okay, so do you know what the perks of Ubisoft Plus are?
I don't. I've never actually heard of Ubisoft Plus until this comment.
Okay, interesting.
I'm assuming it's like Game Pass?
Interesting. That's something that we're going to have to look into, because that is news for us.
I would have no problem with that. I don't want more subscription services, if I'm being honest. Like, I just don't. I just let me buy the game. Yeah. But if the subscription service exists and Ubisoft can make money off of it, then that's great. I would just hate it if it was you had to do the subscription service to play the game.
Yeah, that would kind of
because I don't want garbage. I don't want a subscription service to every game studio. I don't want my CD Projekt Red subscription. I don't want my, I would do maybe a Nintendo subscription, just because I already have one anyway.
You have a Nintendo subscription?
Yeah, it's like $20 a year, and you get access on the Switch. You get access to a bunch of original Nintendo games. And you get access to you have to pay to play online on the Switch.
Oh, interesting.
You have to have a subscription to all of them to play online. In PlayStation, it's the PlayStation Plus, and then in Xbox, it's Xbox Gold. Both of those services, I believe, are $60 to $70 a year American, and Nintendo's is $20 a year American.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Nintendo one's very worth it. There's a lot of great original Nintendo games on there. That's how I hadn't played Zelda 1 or Zelda 2 in years. And I played them on the Switch because I got them with my $20 subscription.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Plus allows you to play games available from Ubisoft Plus with all access included. Honestly, dude, here's the thing. Like, video games are expensive to make. Look at what's going on with the Avengers game. Like, they lost a crap ton of money because they sold 60% of the units they thought they were going to sell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I here's the thing. I don't mind. Yeah, Ubisoft trying to make money, but once it becomes an exclusive thing, then I kind of get a little like irked.
I was thinking it's not going to work.
No, like I think like like there are a lot of people who just don't want another subscription, and it I think something like that, if they made it like an exclusive thing, would hurt Ubisoft eventually. Honestly.
I think the difference between Ubisoft Plus and Xbox Game Pass is that I don't... And it's kind of the problem I have with HBO Max right now, is... And Disney Plus even, to an extent, is like, I don't want to pay for, like, one thing a month in my subscription service. And, like, right now I kind of pay for Disney Plus to watch Mandalorian, and I'm okay with it because it's The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But... The nice thing about Netflix is that it is a bunch of things. You pay your subscription service and you get access to a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
You don't get that from a Ubisoft Plus. You're getting Ubisoft games, which they're maybe putting out 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're paying to play 2 or 3 a year, which it just feels... I don't know how that works long term for them. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand... How much would that cost? With Xbox Game Pass, there's hundreds of games. Like, it just is a different beast.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder, if it was low enough. Like, I wonder what Ubisoft Plus goes for.
Yeah, but if it's too low, like, say it's $2 a month, right? Which would be insane. It's not gonna be $2 a month, but like, in order to recoup the cost of one game at $60 or, at $70 like they are now, that's American. That's 35 months of sales of that person being consistent. That's 3 years, and that 3 years you're putting out 5 other games. Like, the math of it just doesn't really make sense to me.
No, that's fair.
Hulu has their Black Friday special on now. $1.99 for 12 months. Deal ends Monday.
It's not bad. $24
for the year.
Yeah.
Is there anything on Hulu we want to watch?
Probably.
We should
I don't know. I haven't looked at Hulu much.
Thanks for that, Dark Dispatch.
Honest. Yeah, with or without commercials. Ooh.
Yeah, Hulu has separate options. You can pay more to not watch commercials.
I'm sure that's with commercials.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would be way too cheap.
I liked Hulu when I was using it. I haven't used Hulu in a while. Ever since the Runaways was the last thing I had Hulu for.
Interesting.
Does Hulu exist in Canada?
I don't know.
I wonder if Hulu...
I think.
Yeah, Robinson has too. It's Hulu in Canada. I had it when I was in the States, but I haven't had Hulu in a while, so I don't actually know. Clarice is looking it up. Hulu is in Canada. No.
No?
No, you need a VPN.
Oh, watch Hulu with a VPN. Well...
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Interesting. Well, Angela says, I definitely think there's some plus and minus. On the plus side, I like the subscription-based gameplay is that games cost a lot of money. If you just want to test the game, play once, and don't play it ever again after finishing it. On my side, I feel like they're ripping off game developers in a way. Ubisoft Plus costs €15 a month. Wow. No, I'm sorry.
I'm a pass on that.
We can split it 50-50.
But here's the thing. I love that point you make about, you can, like, try a bunch of new games.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, carefully pick and choose where you're going to spend your dollars. If you don't have a lot, you don't have to just, like, pick this one game and, like, hope that you really love it, which a lot of them, if it's AAA and you know what it is, you probably know what you're getting. But that opportunity to, like, try some, like, smaller games, maybe that you don't know as well, maybe they didn't get, like, the hype that others did, I kind of love that idea, like, to be able to, like, experiment with different games, because you might find something that you love.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think that a lot of games, about what you said about AAA titles, I think a lot of AAA titles come out broken.
Yes.
And, like, it's unfortunate that people spend $60 on them and they suck. Seriously, like, look at Avengers. I'm not saying Avengers sucked. I had a lot of fun with it for a week, and then I was done. And I was told that it was going to be a game that I'd be coming back to all the time. And, like, it
but that's
wasn't
what I mean. You would have paid, instead of, like, whatever, $60 for the game?
Yeah.
$60 for the game, you would,
or
like
78 Canadian or whatever.
Yeah, you pay $15 for the month, and of that month you play Avengers for the week, and then after that week is over, you move on to something new.
Sure, I'm saying, like, the difference here is that Ubisoft, like, if that was, like, Xbox Game Pass,
if it was Game Pass and you had a bunch, yeah.
Ubisoft is just Ubisoft. Like, $15 a month to have access to Assassin's Creed games. That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah,
they would need to have quite an extensive library, different options, I think, for me to consider paying something like that.
And granted, there are people who pay $15 a month to play World of Warcraft. So, like, there's definitely people who are willing to pay that.
Yeah.
And, to have access to every Assassin's Creed game is probably worth $15 a month to somebody.
Totally.
I just happen to already own every Assassin's Creed game, so I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like, because that Steam summer sale, if you guys think that I'm, like, a high roller and I just bought them all full price, no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I bought every one of them for, like, 70% off Steam summer sale. Also, y'all, the Steam autumn sale going on now. Go pick up some dang vidgy games. The Mass Effect series is $10 a game right now.
Wild.
Super cheap. Yeah. Even Andromeda, the newest one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't played Andromeda. I've been thinking about it. People, there's a lot of people who don't like it, so I need to look into it to see if it's, like, worth buying. But, like, for $10,
mixed reviews.
I might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all, in some slightly disappointing news, Disney has unfortunately had to announce that it is adding 4,000 layoffs to its initially planned 28,000, bringing its layoffs in the first half of 2021 to 32,000 layoffs. That is mostly coming from the Parks Department, and it's a rough bit of news to hear.
Yeah.
It's a lot of jobs.
Yeah, it's tough. I gotta give Disney props for hanging on for so long.
They tried. They really tried.
They did try.
They furloughed everyone.
Yeah, and they did their best, and it is what it is. But it still sucks. It sucks for all those people that are now jobless and.
Well, not yet. I mean, obviously, they're keeping their jobs through the end of the year.
Okay.
Which is, but like that's not nothing.
No, it's not nothing. Through the Christmas season, that's I think that's really awesome. But it is sad to see,
I think it's especially tough right now because there is no federal assistance going on right now. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the unemployment programs that people are on have ended. The one that I was on ended at the end of July, and there's not been a replacement of that since. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there's a lot of people who are hoping that come the new year, particularly in the United States, that there will be some sort of job assistance some sort of federal assistance going out to help people like these parks employees who, aren't rich. Like, parks employees are not living La Vida Loca.
And their experience probably is not going to help them find a new job in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So...
That's a problem I'm having. I'm trying to find a telemarketing job. Like, I'm trying to find a job, and I don't have the qualifications.
Yeah, we're actors.
I don't type fast enough. I never realized I was a bad typist until I had to take these typing tests for these virtual, like, remote jobs. And I don't type well, apparently.
It's fine.
I can't pass this freaking test.
I don't either.
Yeah.
You're fine. Guys, we're actors. We don't have the skills.
We don't have
for normal jobs. We just know how to talk.
I feel like I need to like take a typing class.
Could you imagine? I couldn't do it. I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think the problem for me is you have to read it and type it, but I have to look at my hands to type. I can't type without looking.
I can't really type without looking either. I end up just screwing everything up. It's not good.
Anglus V says if your pronunciation is spot on, you can use text to speech. That's not a bad idea. I should have cheated. Oh my god, I cheated so much in high school. Why am I not cheating now?
Oh my god.
I'm not great at typing either. I need to look at the computer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I remember my mom, or I think it was my mom would be like, yeah, we had to take typing class in school.
Yeah.
And, I did not have that growing up. I learned cursive, but I didn't learn how to, like, type properly, which is just interesting.
I can type quickly when it's from my own brain. When I'm thinking of it, because I can just look at the keyboard and then look up to make sure that I didn't mess anything up. I can type quickly. It's when I have to read something and type it at the same time that I get slowed down.
Yeah, that's
my mom would be so disappointed. My mother is an incredible typist.
Yeah, I can't.
My mom's just literally at a computer like.
I literally can't. And like, I feel like I type like often enough, but I just...
Hunt and Peck, something about Alex says it's called Hunt and Peck typing, which is the perfect name for it. That's hilarious.
Amazing.
That is so funny. I've never heard that before, Alex, but that is really funny. Dagon is saying start doing a typing test, do them once a day for a week or two, you'll get much better. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get better at it, but I also don't want to.
We just want to be actors, guys.
I just want to do the job that I have a degree in. Yeah. I just want to do the thing. You know that thing
that I
spent my entire life putting every hour of my day into? That thing that doesn't exist anymore? I just want to do that. Yeah,
that would be nice. That would be nice. Rockman just laughing at us.
Mel Labard is somewhere in between. He only uses his index and middle and need to kind of semi-look at the keyboard. I use my ring finger and my thumbs. I use my thumbs a lot for that space bar. That
God damn it. You entertain me daily. BlindSeer says Typer Shark game on Steam helped with his nephew's typing speed.
Great.
We'll get you Typer Shark.
Typing Shark doo doo. Dark Dispatch says if you have a degree you might be able to work as an online tutor. I don't think anyone wants someone to be tutored in musical theater. I don't even know how that would work on Zoom. Like,
so class, what year did Crazy for You come out, and how did it change musical theater?
You Crazy for You? Really? That's the musical you went with?
That's the one that came to mind.
Wow.
What can you ask of me?
Woof. That's a big old woof. It's a fine show. It's just
I've never seen it.
It's fine. It's one of those like Gershwin. It's Gershwin.
Yeah, you're like, that's another thing.
Where you're like, I've heard these Gershwin songs in other shows, and now they're in this one too.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about what was that one that Matthew Broderick just did? I can't even remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was literally like, all right, you know those Gershwin songs you know? Here they are in a different musical with no plot.
Woof.
Hell, right now you can get someone from Hamilton to tour musical theater. Yeah, Rockmage. I actually, if you need that, I know some people. I could pass their information along to you.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. They would probably love the work. Although they got to work, they were working, the cast of Hamilton did get to do some work on the parade yesterday, which was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the actors were brought in to work on the parade, thankfully, and they were paid, thankfully, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Sorry to end on kind of a downer news with that Disney story. Is there anything, like, how can we pep up at the end here?
It's the weekend.
It's the weekend.
Everybody.
It's not going to feel like a weekend.
No, I'm sorry.
It's going to feel weird, y'all.
Sorry.
It's going to be weird. I can't believe I'm, like, getting in a car to drive for hours by myself.
I'm sorry. You can call me.
We haven't...
Christmas!
No.
That's true.
December. Well, let's later talk about Christmas in December.
The next week is December.
I know. So we'll start talking about Christmas then.
I love Christmas.
We'll only talk Christmas news in December.
Great. Only Christmas-themed news in December.
We will discuss a different Hallmark movie every morning on the morning show. You know what? We could do it without watching any of them.
Great.
I'm gonna summarize a Hallmark movie, every Hallmark movie for you. An uptight working woman from the city has to go back to her childhood hometown for the holidays. There she meets a lovable and charming and way too attractive man who is really about family and about the spirit of Christmas. Through some shenanigans, she ends up realizing that work isn't what's important, making babies for society is. This Christmas on the Hallmark Channel. Leave your jobs, ladies, and get impregnated by hot men.
I hated that! Her name is Holly.
Because why the fuck not? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, I just swore. Oops.
Oh, man. We were doing so well.
That's literally Hallmark movies. It's
wow.
like every Hallmark... Have you seen any of them?
Probably not.
You should watch one. It's hilarious. It's always like this woman who's like, I have to get back to the city for my career. And the guy's like, or you could just slow down and like appreciate Christmas. And she's like, Mark, you know what? You're right. I am going to move to my hometown and leave my job and become a pro bono lawyer and stop making money and we're going to have children. And you're like...
that sounds like a nightmare.
What? What happened in the last 2 hours?
Well, I don't think I'm going to enjoy Hallmark movies, but we'll give one a try.
I don't know if it's a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie, but the first one I ever watched was the Dolly Parton Christmas. And it was a Hallmark movie that was set in Dollywood, and I only watched it because Dolly Parton's name is in it, and I love Dolly Parton.
Fair.
And so I was like, I'll watch this, and it was an experience. It was hilarious.
Well, I guess that's what we're gonna watch this Christmas.
There's always like the great scene where the woman's like, you know what? I do like him, but I have to go back to the city, and her friend is like, do you though? And anyone who's ever actually had a job is like, yeah. She has to at least give notice. Like, she can't just
doesn't show up. Like, that's not how life works.
That's not how being a lawyer works.
Yeah, no, my clients will be fine without me.
My clients, you know what? Screw them.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here and have babies.
Oh, man. I don't think I've ever seen a Hallmark Christmas movie, but I really couldn't tell you that for certain.
Yeah. I will say this. Hallmark...
I've seen... What is it?
You make a lot of movies. I will say this. You make a lot of them.
Is it Love Actually that's like a bunch of different people?
Rockmage in the chat says, that's why it's important for the lumberjack to be a secret millionaire. Which
right.
often happens.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We have that whole spiel as a clip now. Dagon, I'm going to post that on my TikTok. That clip is going straight to TikTok.
I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you can follow us on all social media.
You can. Nerdy, Nightly,
and Claris Dracarys.
We're everywhere.
Literally everywhere.
Are you streaming tonight?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to do like a short little bonus stream later today before I play Dead by Daylight with Fanta. So, come hang out for that.
Y'all, I will be available in my DMs and whatnot over the weekend. Actually, I won't. I have a Canadian phone, and I'm going to be in my storage unit in the States. So you won't be able to reach me. But if you do
reach me.
If you do DM me, I will try and get back to you whenever I can. And I'm going to be gone for the weekend. So I just want you to know that I love y'all. You're dope and you're incredible people. And I will see you all for the Monday show. Because this is the Nightly Morning Show. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. We're always live. And I will be back for the show Monday. I do promise. Unless I get detained in the States for some reason.
Stop it. Don't say that. Jesus Christ. Knock on wood.
Is there anything else we want to talk about?
No, that's it. That's our show for today.
That's our show for today. Thank you guys for being here. This was a weirdly fun one.
It was great.
It went a little places. We got a little dark. We got a little happy.
You know what? I feel like the morning show is like a journey. Every day it's a different journey that you go on. It starts somewhere and ends up somewhere completely different. And through the middle, it's like one of those weird like mazes. You have to like get through the other side. You know what I mean?
Are you saying that the morning show is The Hobbit?
Yes.
Wow. And the middle of our show is Mirkwood Forest. Good luck getting through that. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. As we always say, my name's David Webb.
I'm Ariel Edwards.
Do something nerdy tonight. Bye-bye. Bye.